and maybe Hyper will show up.
Cool.
That looks like you're pouring molasses.
Basically, yeah. This is that Star Wars stuff. It's the last one I've got. It's been good.
You were kind to me.
All right, I gotta move stuff around, so I'm looking at a camera.
You don't have to, you know.
No, you want me to just be like, just staring off to the side all night? Let people engage with my profile. I like what I've been doing lately. I just had a notepad.
And then I go and throw you off with this.
Do you have a Google? Do you have show notes for this one?
No.
Okay.
I was working on the RV too much and been busy.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But it's coming together. We're almost. Painting is taking forever.
That's awesome.
Oh man. Oh hi, I smart like rock.
I know that guy. He's a good guy.
That's fair. I know their Discord name and talk to them from time to time. But I don't know them personally.
Ah, well. I got to meet the guy at LVO. I know exactly who he is.
Hey, it's that guy.
I just don't know if he wants me to say his name. Say his name.
Da, 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 da.
What am I doing here? Can you give me a Google Doc? And I'll just throw a bunch of stuff in it real quick.
Fine.
Do the work for me.
Docs.
Can I copy your homework?
Excuse me. That's not what I wanted. I wanted Google Docs, and it took me to Riverside. That's really weird.
Oh, weird. I don't know. It's a race now.
Google Docs.
Oh,
Sign in.
Docs went through a spreadsheet.
Okay. Here we go. Boop. Boop. Blank. Share. Notes. Boop. Boop. There you go. Man, I'm actually really tired today. This is Oh, you guys had dinner? And I wasn't invited?
You weren't there.
That's fair. I could have been there in spirit.
We wanted you to be there. I think
That's
everyone wanted you to be there.
That's true. Tickets are probably going to sell out within like minutes.
For LVO next year?
Yeah.
I opted not to go to a qualifier this weekend.
I'm in the lunch meet qualifier, and then Alex Potts is in it, so that kind of makes me like, well, there goes that. I've never actually played him, so I don't really know. Maybe he's not as good, but I've seen nothing but he's still pretty good with this game.
I think he understands it conceptually. I don't know how many reps he's getting right now, but probably plenty.
Yeah. Well, he's playing Cabal, so
yeah.
Don't really need reps there.
I mean, they help still. Reps always help.
Reps
Muscle
always
memory,
help.
Seeing more different things.
Well, I guess we'll get started. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 3. Record.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this wilderness,
Welcome to the Rogue Agents podcast, where you got Sam and me.
Who are you? I think you forgot to play the intro again.
What? Oh, did I? Oh my god, I hit live. One of these. Okay, there will be one day where I actually get this like right. You're sitting there in silence, like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That day is not today, sir.
It's not today. All right, take two.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this war, there's no surrender. He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky?
You don't like a fair fight.
I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
Think you're the only superhero in the world?
Touché.
All right, for real, welcome to the Rogue Agents, your Marvel Crisis Protocol podcast where Dizzard can't do anything right. I guess I had to be in tune with the title of the episode. All aboard the struggle bus.
All aboard!
Big thanks to our patrons, our listeners, people who show up on Twitch to talk to us, like IR Smart Like Rock. Ben will probably be here soon. I wouldn't be surprised if he is, because he's typically here. And let's see. Hey Sam, what are you hot taking, cold drinking tonight?
I am having a repeat tonight. I'm having Star Wars.
So it's not a repeat, because that
Guess
was
that.
the other show.
Well, you know, I've had this beer before, so it's a repeat
fair.
for me.
It's a repeat for me too, because Sour Monkey was in the fridge. It's just easy, you know. Like, if I'm like, a podcast that's coming up, what do I want to grab? And I'm like, this is a familiar flavor, and it's good.
It's a thing, yeah.
It's a thing.
absolutely the thing.
I don't have show notes, and I'm really like bouncing around right now. What's next? We got I've been really busy with the RV, so like I'm very much not prepared. I am not prepared.
Me neither.
All right. We're going to be talking about... Sam, go ahead and talk about the topic, because it was your idea.
Well, it was my idea. So last week we got axed to start talking about characters that maybe people talk about underperforming in the meta, and the words albatross or anchor or quite a few other pejoratives get thrown around on. We're talking about characters like, well, I like Thor. You got a character you like in this game, Dizzard?
That's an albatross or an anchor?
Maybe a 5-threat leader of a certain favorite affiliation?
I don't
No
really
one's
feel... No, like maybe...
No one's ever made that?
I could say Colossus might be...
Oh,
he's not
okay.
a leader, but...
Oh, all right. All right.
Yeah, no, Cable's a thing.
So Cable's a thing. Cable's a good character. I think Thor's a good character too. But they're 5-threat leaders, and they don't necessarily have the output or the centerpiece quality that you might be looking for from a 5-threat, because they're leadership.
Okay, so
characters.
there's
bringing more
a
to the
question.
table than
There's a question for you here.
just
Is your 5-threat or your leader supposed to be a centerpiece, or is that just something that we all put into our own heads?
It's a good question. I think that it's more about just the cost that these higher threat leaders are bringing to the table, where it's not that you expect your leader to be a centerpiece, because I don't think that that's actually what you want. You want your leader to pull everything together.
I have a theory, and this is kind of coming from how they're designing Shatterpoint, right?
Okay.
Because Shatterpoint, they have basically the box all equals up, and it's like, why does this thing cost this much? Well, it makes sense for the box overall cost. So, like, if you take that idea and apply it to affiliations, it kind of makes sense for like these 5-threat leaders and 6-threat leaders, where it's like, if you have Cable, if Cable was a 4-threat, then like the world is my oyster with my roster creation. And like, let's look at Defenders. If Strange was a 4-threat, like, so like maybe the threat of the character really isn't indicative of that character on its own, but the fact that they're going to make that affiliation, they're going to make the leadership, and it's more to keep that affiliation within a boundary limit, because if I have Cable at a 4 threat, that means I can run Cable, Psylocke, 23, and Domino. That's 4, 8, 11. That's 14. Like, okay, I throw in Badger at 16. Like, I can math sometimes. So I'm kind of thinking about this actually a lot lately. Maybe the cost and like this whole centerpiece and anchor is something that we as players have kind of like instilled in ourselves to what we expect. In some cases, yeah, it's absolutely true. But maybe Cable's threat is the way it is to keep the affiliation from like going out of a bound. I don't necessarily think that it's true, because I think if Cable was a 4 threat, X-Force would be like fine. They wouldn't be scary. They'd be fine. But in some cases, I could actually see this being the case. So let's look at Defenders. If OG Strange was a 4 threat, like...
when OG Strange was released, he was one of the first characters that I think anyone like read that card and they were just like, oh my gosh, that's so much text.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had the most text printed on him, like of any card that had been released at the time. And it was like, he's only a 5 threat. And like my only like parallel was like MODOK at the time. And I was like, that's a really like, that's interesting. Like that's like, he's a completely different type of 5 threat.
But my question goes to you though. Like, what do you think about that theory? This little tinfoil hat I got.
Tinfoil hat that we're talking about limiters. I mean, 2 things come to mind for me with that. And one of them is like, on a long enough timeline, the survival rate of everything drops to 0. Yeah. And the other one that comes to mind is the phrase that like, given enough time, gamers will optimize the fun out of a game. And I think that if those are in place as limiters, then they might like just as a design principle might be hurting a little bit.
Well, when
those
you think
affiliations
about it, though,
from that optimization mindset.
But let's think about this. When all of these characters that are like leadership and high threat that like are commonly referred to as an anchor. So let's go OG Strange, Black Bolt, Cable, She-Hulk. These were all... Oh, and Thor. These were all designed / released within the first year of the game being out. So maybe it's an old philosophy.
Yeah, maybe. I have no idea.
I have no idea either, but I think it's an interesting... I think it's an interesting thing, because if you look at Shatterpoint, and I'm not going to talk about too much of Shatterpoint. I just wanted to make this comparison because this game is just about to come out, and we're noticing this scene where it almost seems like they're trying to toe point cost of a model to make the release make sense.
I mean, I think the MCPs, at least historically, had a pretty different release cycle than what Shatterpoint's doing.
You're not wrong.
Like, I don't think that the boxes have made sense in terms of threat and things like that more often than not. I think, it seemed either it was arbitrary or well thought out, but like, we split these models into these 2 boxes for, reasons X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, this is a fun aside, that's one. But, I mean, how do you play with these guys, right? So, like, unlocking them sounds like it's kind of an important part, right? So if we're talking about a leader, we're talking about a high-cost leader, we're talking about a piece that isn't necessarily your centerpiece.
Well, that was our main point about that. That just built me back in.
But like, how do you play? How do you unlock that, right? Because now you've got something.
Okay, so
you have to unlock.
Number one, you get it out of your head that it's a centerpiece, because none of these models are a centerpiece. So if you're thinking that your leader is always going to be a centerpiece, I think it's actually more the opposite. It's actually, we have less leaders that are a centerpiece than are. Like, let's look at Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson's not the centerpiece. He's just an enabler.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see. Malekith. Malekith is absolutely the centerpiece in model quality and abilities. Red Skull, I would say Red Skull's a centerpiece.
I think that's why you see Red Skull like in X-Men, because you're accentuating his strengths by giving him extra mobility and letting him just attack.
Yeah.
And let the grunt score stuff for you and be a hopping point.
But I would say if you have one of these characters that you like to play, is honestly the best advice to personally give about this is just throw everything out the window. Like anything that you know or what anybody says, and form your own opinion and develop your own play strategy. Because obviously, whatever you're listening to is not working. Like, because the people are like, oh, this character sucks. This is doing this. It's not doing this. It's not doing what I want it to do. Well, maybe they're playing it wrong. Maybe they're not optimizing it, and they haven't found the way that character is optimized. Like, let's talk about Cable. For the longest time, Cable was, hey, sit on your back point with Cable and shoot. He's not going to do much, but he's holding the back point. He's throwing 2 attacks out every single turn. And then I'm like, well, I play Cable midline, and he feels pretty good. Like, he's throwing, he's protecting his people, he's still contesting. But it's like, I play Cable differently than pretty much anybody else I've ever seen play Cable.
Well, you've been playing him like longer than a lot of people have played Cable, and there's always a learning curve with pieces. Yeah. And like the more, that's why, reps, right? That's why we always harken back to that. Just playing something time and time and time again, you're going to learn where breakpoints are, where you need to bring them, where they need to be, like when you can get really aggressive with them, when you don't want to, because they're just going to get nuked off the table, and that's something that you don't want. And then I think another thing that you get out of reps is hopefully an idea of how you can use your health as a resource, right? Because like you don't get extra points for having extra healthy characters or full health characters or anything like that.
It's all about making your actions and decisions actually turn into like anything, really. I'm trying to think of the word, but it's not coming to me. Like every action should have result.
Yeah. One of these characters is like Cable and Thor are both kind of dicey characters. That's like one of the things that I think people look at. And so it's like, well, if you have a dicey character like this, you kind of just have to embrace that variance. And that's part of the play style.
And we also have other things about them, so like what Thor can do other stuff. Like instead of doing for Asgard and going in,
right,
he could literally throw some hammers and throw shock out there and be an enabler for his team.
Yep, and sometimes that's all you need. It's just less damage coming in, so you're just standing around shocking stuff. There are easy games of Crisis Protocol and there are difficult games of Crisis Protocol, and I think that experience can get you a long ways when it comes to understanding like how to play these maligned high threat leaders. But so if we were going to start drawing comparisons between a 5 threat leader and what 5 threat leader teams look like versus what 3 threat leader and 3 threat leader teams look like, you're not necessarily going wider or taller just because of the threat of your leader. It kind of enables you in some directions, but if the team composition is 3, 3, 5, 4, 2, right? Like there's a lot of roads to get there.
Well, I also think something interesting to talk about there is you talk about how it doesn't necessarily mean wider. I would argue it's going to be the same. It's just you're not taking that premier 5 threat now. You're taking that 5 threat as your leader, and if you are taking that premier 5 threat, then you're punished for it. So that's where like the lower leaderships have the ability to, is they don't have to pay the premium for a premium model. They're paying the premium or a premium for a sub premium model. They're paying a premium for a premium model, and then they just fill with the rest of their stuff. Whereas with like let's say X-Force Cable, you're just like, I'm already 5 points in the hole, and now all of my 3s and 4s have to be above bar.
Yeah, and so I mean that's an interesting factor there, right? So I mean X-Force, right? In your case, you have some Premier 3s.
Yeah.
You have Premier 3 or Premier 4 probably.
I would say 2 Premier 3s and a Premier 4, which is really all you... Actually, I would say they have a Premier 2, too. Like, I love Honey Badger. I think she takes some getting used to how to utilize her properly. But I do think that, like, 23, Domino, and Psylocke are all, like, above-curve characters.
Okay. And so, I mean, now Cable is what, to some extent is enabling with the rerolls. Everybody likes that reroll.
And 2 dice on defense,
Yeah, I guess it's nothing to sneeze at.
It matters sometimes. And he can throw it incinerate on a wild. Like, he's great.
I mean, so at some point though, like, I mean, I've had Cable just nuke me off the table, and there are plenty of games where you're just like, well, I enabled Cable to get to range 5 of me, and the dice like really broke the Cable's way.
Honestly, I have something to say about this. I think the Cable's biggest like thing going for him is people underestimate him.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden he just one shot somebody and they're like, "Huh. I've never thought I'd come into this situation." It's like, well, you gave him to me because you didn't respect a range 5. Regardless of his Cable or Bucky or Rocket, it's still the same attack. Like, it's just I'm paying a premium for it. But I could throw stuff, okay?
Right. So like once you've got power, what's your priority power usage with Cable? Are you looking at
body slide and throwing stuff?
Okay. So dice is just like tertiary. If you're rolling extra
like defense dice,
then, yeah.
Like defense dice. Okay, so riddle me this. Why is diamond form meh out for Emma and considered something you hardly ever use?
She can't play tactics cards.
Okay. But are you doing it really to survive? Like, why do you go to diamond form? Because it's a last ditch effort, right? Okay. So there's no plus side for her to go to diamond form.
I mean, she's slightly
and
better
it
on defense.
And it cost her 1, right, to go to diamond form. Sure. Cable, it costs him 2 to give you 2 dice. And like it's just like, I don't know, like time and time again, I've just gotten bit by like, I'm gonna boost my defense. All right, I did absolutely nothing. I think the 2 dice works. Like dice math, it adds up to being like I think it's like not even a full success like for the dice math.
And so I mean, I've described this before, but basically like I don't want to attack into someone who is rolling bonus dice. I won't like actively seek that out, but I am never looking at bonus defense dice on like my own defense dice and being like, yeah, I'm gonna survive this for sure. I'm just like, no, it's just more blanks you roll, right? Like that's.
But it's like I would rather, if I have 2 power, like either that on Cable, either that 2 power is going to score me a VP with a body slide. Okay. It's going to give me 3 damage on somebody from throwing a size 2, and those benefits of spending 2 power on to me is higher than less. So is I smart like rock?
Yes.
2 dice. It's less than 50% to roll defense. So it's like I'm gonna spend 2 power to get less than 50% for a success, or am I gonna spend 2 power to get potentially 3 damage to score a VP? Like all these other things that Cable can be doing with his power that is just more objective, actually, factually beneficial to your game state. Like his
for sure.
Like, and this comes down to evaluating these characters that are considered anchors and actually utilizing their power in a way that is gaining you value instead of variance. Because, like, sure, on good variance, those 2 defense dice will roll 2 blocks, but that's not consistent. What's consistent is saving that 2 power to be able to throw a size 2 at somebody, or better yet, you're throwing a size 4 at somebody because now you have 4 power instead of just 2.
What about boosting Psylocke's dice?
Or for her defense, I think okay. So that changes things because she has the martial artist. So when you're adding other variables like that, and it's like life or death for her, then yeah, I'm gonna boost her. But this comes into evaluating the situation at hand. Is my value earned greater than or less than what I could be doing with the power on my next activation?
Do you think that it's worth running a character like Iron Fist with Cable, right? Where you're really just maxing out the bonus defense dice? No,
because where's Cable going to get the power to do that?
Right, because you got to play Cable better.
Yeah. So it's
How
just
often
like...
does your Cable die?
If Cable's dead, it's typically because I made a bad decision, or for some reason my opponent is like hunting him, which I never understand why that happens. because now I have Psylocke or Logan running around free willy-nilly.
Okay.
But typically, I feel like whenever Cable dies, it's like a target of opportunity type of thing. Like, yeah, he's here. He's scoring you 2 VPs. I'm just going to take him out because Cable just dies arguably too easy for being Cable.
Sure.
Especially when you compare him to Strange. Like, Strange just, like, can live some attacks.
Which
Reroll all. OG.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, reroll all is just an amazing ability. You get perfect knowledge, or at least somewhat perfect knowledge, right? Rerolling defense dice. Yeah, you have perfect knowledge on that because the attacker's rerolling first. So you're like, how am I doing here? How much damage am I taking?
If I could change Cable's telekinetic shield, it would literally just be a flat invulnerable 1. I would pay 2 power for invulnerable 1 every single time.
I think that sort of standardization would be interesting in Crisis Protocol because I feel like there's a lot of variability in Crisis Protocol that the things are, I think the less
decisions you have to make.
And
so that's the thing is like
the random element in this game, I think it kind of has to remain the dice.
Which is why it's more interesting to play into teams that are playing X-Force or Defenders or Midnight Suns or even Hellfire Club because like it's more fun instead of just playing the same list over and over and over again. Let's not go down that hole.
I know, I'm not. I'm here to talk about fun stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff.
I mean, Shield's on that list too, right? So I think the difference with Shield is that obviously it's not a 5-threat leader, but it's
the thing about Shield is you're getting a super efficient leader. Where is sure thing? But anyways, like with Shield, you're getting a 4-threat leader who comes with a grunt. So you're not only are you getting like a 4-threat, you're getting a 4-threat who's very, very good at advancing your game state.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have to be the centerpiece either. You could easily throw Malekith or throw like something else. Like honestly, I think
needs a centerpiece.
I don't think they do either. I think their centerpieces are tactics. Like
it's fun to play Hulk, She-Hulk, and Fury, but they don't actually need a centerpiece. But that's because Hulk's fun and She-Hulk's fun to play. I mean, she's another malign leader, right? That's like ramping it up to the next level. Now you've got a 6-threat leader with a leadership that is oddly easy to turn off, and occasionally you just like wind up just like turning on a flood of power.
Sounds like Black Bolt. I feel like
Black Bolt is Black Bolt. I've had so many they say like sometimes the best thing you can do is just double move, right? Just double move. Sometimes that is the absolute best play, no matter the threat, no matter the whatever of that character. You're putting him in position for next turn. You're getting him out of a sticky situation that they're not going to get followed out of. Like sometimes you just double move. And that's just the best thing to do. And Black Bolt is a baller of double moving.
If you're a baller like Cable, you move, body slide, and shoot.
Hey, there you go. No, I mean, so Black Bolt has a similar turret ability. He does not have the mobility that Cable does, or the range actual. But he does have Lockjaw, so he's got a different supporting cast, right? Yeah. So, and Black Bolt's not really trying to be the centerpiece of that affiliation.
Until he flips.
I mean, he can be. He can centerpiece it out for you, but like just him just dropping his builder and boosting his own dice is a lot more menacing than a lot of other variations. So like, but that is a game that you either set up with Lockjaw stuff or your opponent hands you on a silver platter. So I think that he's a really he is bringing a leadership that is absolutely insane to the table.
Yeah.
Like it's so insane that you actually can't use it quite as much as you might hope or want to.
I guess like my question though is like we're talking about these characters and like we're talking about all these positives. Like why are they anchors? Yeah. Like why is Cable an anchor? Why is Black Bolt an anchor? Why is OG Strange an anchor? Like why is She-Hulk an anchor? Like these are all actually like decent characters and they have like their space, but like why why are they anchors? Like why have we come to this conclusion as a community that Cable sucks? Black Bolt, you wish you had somebody else. She-Hulk, why are you playing She-Hulk? Let's go play Hulk. Like all these different things you see. OG Strange, more like no G. Why are you playing Blade? Man, I wish Hyper was here. Why are you playing Blade? Like he doesn't do nothing. But like why are these characters considered anchor characters or albatrosses, like you said earlier? I really don't get it, because like I have a soft spot in my heart for Cable, as many people know. And I also think that Cable's like actually decent. Like I don't think he's like the bane of existence and the reason why X-Force struggles. The reason why X-Force struggles is because they don't really have any, like, what are you actually netting from playing X-Force? You get cat and mouse. Okay, that's cool.
I mean, that's kind of the Defenders issue too, right? Because like it's not necessarily, it's not that OG Strange is bringing you down. It's that your utter lack of like abusable or like even like situationally appropriate.
Well, it's just like
you can play pentagrams on later turns, right? There's no reason you can't do that, and you can actually like there are things that are there that like are there for the taking. Like, but
it's very much like it's almost like that character is getting punished by the community and shunned to the corner of no like regard to like how the character actually is. Because I see people all the time talk about Cable, because like the X-Force Discord, like, oh, Cable let me down again, and I'm used to it. It's called Cable Dice for a reason.
So I mean, like, you're admitting something there, right? Like
I have a love-hate relationship with Cable, but it's very much like you look at his kit and it's like, why does this character suck? Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. On paper, Cable's like really, really good. But in practice, like if he misses one of those early shots and he doesn't get that powertrain flowing, he is struggle busting the entire game.
Yeah. So, okay, like I can segue into some Thor strategy with that, because one of the things that I learned with Thor is that you can kind of slow roll Thor into the combat, and you spend the first, like turn, maybe even turn 2. What you want to be able to do is start your turn with 3 power. So barring like power disruption or bonus power, that means that like turn 1, you can like walk and throw a hammer. And then turn 2, you've got 3 power. You can do cool things with 3 power. Sometimes that's stand right where you are and throw 2 hammers. Start your next turn with 3 power. And then as the game develops around him, he can go and like try to like end the matchup.
I also feel like we're like these characters that we're talking about. You have Black Bolt, Cable, Thor, Blade, She-Hulk, etc., etc., etc.
I'm glad we didn't have OG Strange on the list this time.
Oh yeah,
he really doesn't deserve to be on it. He's only on that list because of his Defenders like issues. The issue with the Defenders.
But what's the difference? Like, where does OG Strange outperform Cable? No, I
don't think it's apples to apples. No, I don't think it's apples to apples. In all honesty, like I think that OG Strange is a completely different character, and they're both support pieces to some extent. They're both like so Strange is healing. He's outright healing his team. I mean, obviously, like it's one of those like on paper and practice things, right? Because like on paper, Strange has all the tools, and the Defenders roster is oh my god stacked. Like from
Strange
top
has
to
control
bottom.
options. Okay, Strange has control options. Cable has damage options.
There you go.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you just said it right there. Yeah.
Thanks, Danny.
But it's like it's very much though like if we're looking at that, then maybe X-Force's issue isn't Cable, and people can stop whining about Cable, and it's just the tactics cards that X-Force has available to them. Maybe, just maybe.
So, okay. So now, I mean, if it's not characters, then it's tactics cards, right? So, like, do we just have a situation where our 5 threat leaders are also coupled like with like an unfortunate
that's
like
that's the
coincidence
common that is the common denominator though. What tactics cards?
Because the Inhumans have like
what?
and like
Yeah,
they're like
they're all
okay.
Trash.
They're all
no. Let's be real.
One is good. Two are okay.
One is good.
One is like probably not.
Okay, so you have one good and two you may or may not be taking.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. X-Force has one you take and one that doesn't even exist, and then one that is super niche and you can build your list around it to make work, but it's probably just better off to not. So you have one. Defenders, you have one that you probably wish was what it used to be, and it makes you cry every time you look at it, so you probably burned it. And then you have Doctor Strange cards. Like, what else do Defenders have? Is it just pentagrams?
So yes, the other cards that the Defenders have are the OG Strange cards. So they have 7 Buns of Cinnabus and
Cinnabons. Okay, that's what I thought. So it's like literally it's just Doctor Strange cards. So it's like the common denominator across these are just like meh. But then we get to Thor and Asgard, who arguably have some of the like, really amazing tactics. Rainbow Bridge, Odin's Blessing. The other one that I can't remember the name of right now. Oh, Dune Prophecy. Like arguably some really good cards.
Yeah.
So is it the same issue here, or is it literally just like that is the one that is the outlier of
Asgard is an outlier in this conversation, in my opinion, because number one is that so Thor is either an 8.5 threat or he's like less than 3 threat, depending on how the game goes for you.
Just the fat Thor or Ragnarok Thor.
Pretty much, yep. Like those are you're getting one of the two, and you don't know which one you're going to get every single time he activates. And so, like, you can have a game where he just swings back and forth. You have a game where he's balls to the wall, and you'll have a game where he just underperforms for the entire game. And you also have you have multiple ways to play Thor, but the thing about it is that you have to pick like which mode you're going to play your Thor in for that round. And you don't know if you're rolling the dice part of that, you don't know what's going to happen. So if you're like, all I want to do is drop a shock on this guy and hopefully do no damage, well, you just got to roll dice and see what happens. You're rolling 5 dice. So like, I've just like accidentally KO'd a Miles before that like lost me priority, and you're just like, how did that even happen? Like, I rolled like 8 crits.
I flubbed my Thor Asgard, and then I KO'd you with a hammer that I somehow did 8 damage on.
Okay, so like, I think maybe one thing to touch on here is how hard it is to detach like successful turns from like good play or something, right? Like there are amazing ways to like play this game with strategy, and like we talk all the time about how the dice mess that up, but like you have like other situations in this game where like I had a really good strategy.
Well, I have
decided to roll some dice, and it went really, really bad.
I feel like the only thing that you can consider good strategy, or like I made a really big brain play here, is something that didn't require dice.
Oh, I would say it's anything that's like you make a decision after the results of dice, where you're able to like roll dice and then. Well,
so like my thing is, but that doesn't like ultimately the decision you're making isn't what required dice, because the decision is like based off of a diceless effect.
Sure, but sometimes like, it's rolling more dice. To be fair.
I just think that like when you're looking at Marvel, it very much is like the decisions that you're making to put yourself in positioning, to put yourself in a throw, pull, all the stuff that is diceless is where the big brain plays are. Me going in and putting a game.
Go back on this podcast and you listen to early episodes. You were railing against like sure things. I swear you were. I swear you were. Because I'm the sure thing guy.
But like it's very much, you look at it though, and it's very much when you look at stuff that happens in this game. I don't know. I keep seeing stuff where it's like, that's man, that was such a big brain play. I went in and I hit 6 crits off this attack, and it's like, oh, so you got lucky. Like, no, I made the right choice. It's like, well, statistically, you should have lost that attack. Like it like dice math didn't add up. So like technically, if you want to like say it was a big brain play, you actually made a fool's errand of a decision and got lucky.
Yeah. But this game is not Marvel Math Protocol.
No, it's not. But like, I have come to a, I guess, conclusion that I don't care about the math. Like I like my dice have always been just so Sweeney. Like I'm gonna throw 5 dice into your 10 dice. You count blanks.
It's not
I
just
don't
you.
care.
It's not just you. I swear, it's not just you.
I think the whole community needs to come to this realization, though. But like, I guess like what kind of like, I guess, you know what really grinds my gears is when somebody says they made a big brain play and like gets all cocky about it when it's like, yo, you rolled 4 dice into 5 defense and you got 10 damage. Like that is not a big brain play. That is, you got lucky. Like. I don't know. I've seen it a couple of times. And I'm just like, wow, like dice be dice, bro. Like, and it's very
Absolutely.
much. I really just like this kind of helps if you're playing X-Force. Like really take this to heart. Don't care about dice math. Like most of the time, it's gonna do whatever the dice want to do.
If it's your game, it's your game. If it's your day, it's your day. Like,
and it's very much like instead of like. I'm not saying go just make like aimless attacks because you can, and and Dizzard told you don't worry about the dice math. Like,
absolutely, you can throw games away.
have an end result for what you're doing. Be like, okay, I need to attack this person because it's gonna net me this and this. Don't be like, well, Dizzard said dice don't matter, so I'm gonna go ahead and attack this dude.
Well, I mean, if you like, okay, so like if you're like playing with like Rogue or like Jean Grey, and you're like, do a spender because like you have to buy a throw, like sure, that's different.
Yeah, but like it's very much like
It's gonna lose your priority.
Make wise decisions. make those wise decisions. I don't know how we ended up on this, but I don't know. I guess I got in a little.
No, but it's good play, right? Like you have to understand the costs. So that's another interesting thing about 5s is that they might not be centerpieces, right? But these dicey 5s, they also roll a lot of dice.
You know who's a dicey 5
on the table
and is a centerpiece?
Who's that?
He comes with a grunt.
Oh, wait. There's a 5 for the man. Those grunts would have to be.
And he's a leader too.
On a 5 threat.
And he's a leader.
Okay, so is that the comparison point? Is that where we're like, okay, like. That's a good. You're gonna make us do it. So look,
no, hear me.
Next to Red Skull, you put Thor on the other side of that, and you're like, okay, I think
100%. I think 100%. It's a change in philosophy and game design. Like you see it on their cards.
Wow.
Like it's very much Red Skull is new MCP, Cable and Thor is old MCP.
# left behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, tell me I'm wrong. Like, prove me wrong or prove me right. Because I 100% think that. I think that like it's 100%. Like AMG has said, okay, we need to advance the game. We need to do with these characters. I'm not gonna say the PC word because I don't believe in it. But like, it's like, for all intents and purposes, like they had to power creep. Like they have to like adjust, like, and I think it was Wilchick talking on a Shatterpoint interview, right? And he was talking about that one thing that they did with MCP was they released a model, and then the next releases were really designed to like deal with the model. I'm absolutely paraphrasing here. I don't remember what exactly he said, but like that almost inherently means that you're going to ultimately have this powering up of the game as it goes along, because in order to outdo the last one, you gotta do something a little different, and then next thing you know, you're at the next level power. Like instead of 9,000, you're at 10,000.
That's really so. Okay, so then here's a tinfoil hat thing for you. Then, if that's the case, they designed a lot of models.
Absolutely.
And
what you got to think about it is the stuff that we're getting now.
Has the power creep just been hidden behind this as they like release models that were designed earlier, but maybe were more powerful, and then they sprinkle in some of the ones that were designed to be models that were released
I'm still of the opinion that power creep hasn't hit this game yet. I think what we're seeing with like what we see is the high end. We've seen the low end and we've seen the mid, and like this last year of releases has been like almost nothing but high end characters.
Okay, so I think to explain, if you don't mind, I'm going to put this into a little bit more detail so that people don't think you're gaslighting
go ahead.
them.
Okay.
I think that what you're trying to say is that the game was designed on a power level from like top to bottom.
Well, I mean, like it's been described
and we're
as such.
experiencing power creep because we're seeing models in this range, and we've only ever experienced models in this lower range before.
Has straight up said characters
but
for
it's
MCP,
not actually power creep.
Characters.
The game was designed with this ceiling.
Will Schick has said characters are designed on a bell curve. So, like right now, I feel like we're getting all of the fucking bell curve.
J now, though.
You're not
this
wrong.
This is the J curve.
But I just like, I mean, like it's just crazy because you look at the past year of releases and show me like a bad character.
No, and kudos to them for that. I do stand by my comment that things are maybe a little less fun to play against as they are to play, which is problematic.
And this comes back to, in my opinion, the biggest issue in the game right now is time to kill is just too low. Like they need to increase defense. Maybe even if
that a game state like I don't know. Shatterpoint's interesting with to reference Shatterpoint. So
definitely
set the record straight. Blizzard and I have played a fair amount of Shatterpoint, and it maybe has taken away a bit from some of my active chasing of MCP games. So
I'm still in it for the X-Force.
Absolutely, I'm still having fun with MCP. I enjoyed the game. I cannot state that enough. It's a great game. I just like it's more like Commander to me right now. I think that they are paving a different direction. I love Commander. It's fun. You just got to play with the right people or people with the like minds. Doesn't matter what you choose, just like minds. But Shatterpoint is a lot more metered in its health, which is crazy because when I first started playing MCP, I was just amazed that like my stuff could be on the board next turn, even though something terrible happened to me. And that was like fantastic.
That is what got me into MCP was because I was watching a stream of Epic Duck Studios. He was painting Captain America. I was like, oh, what's this? This is really cool. He's like, oh, this is for his new game coming out next month called Marvel Crisis Protocol. I'm like, oh, what is that? He's like, man, the coolest part about this game is they've basically removed the Alpha Strike. You always have a way back in. And here we are 3 years later, where it's like, we saw a screenshot from a game.
Time to kill is too damn short.
It is. Like, essence of the story is characters just die way too quickly. And I think that also comes back to bring this back around to our anchors, right? Is none of these characters consistently attribute to that.
And all of these characters are fragile enough to disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they all roll dice. Like the one thing all of these characters have in common is that they all roll large pools of dice for almost everything they do. OG Strange being a little bit less on the like bulk of dice front, a little more on the quality front. But like reroll all is amazing. Reroll all with perfect knowledge is a great ability, but it's also like not like anywhere close to like the most powerful ability in the game because it's reroll all. So you're just trying again.
Yeah. It's I think it's like the consistency is vastly different. And this comes to question. I think you have this on your note here of where's it at? Give me 1 second.
Why is it hard? Why is it harder?
I think it was a listener question.
Okay.
But yeah, let's go ahead. Why is it hard? Why is it harder?
Team composition. You have to have like some depth in your affiliation in order to get good stuff out of it.
I think it comes down to not getting sunken down into traps and making, like you said, proper choices with your splash characters that are going to actually enable you to play that you're trying to play instead of hinder you. Because you're so used to being able to say, cool, I'm going to throw ahead Malekith in there. Malekith can help me win games. Not with X-Force. You're not playing Malekith until like 18 threat. Like, and at that point, you're still only 3 wide. Is Malekith enough to cover your ass when you have Cable Malekith and 23? Like, that team does not seem fun to me.
That's a lot.
So why is it?
I feel like so like that's the kind of team that you just can't play. Yeah. So like some of these like niche affiliations like this, like you're just not leaning into whatever that meta is. And like as an on and off incredibly sweaty tryhard for MCP and every game I've ever played, the scariest thing to me is the guy playing the off meta roster that he has been playing forever. Because
so
that
I'm the scariest guy at Nova.
Like that is the scariest thing to me, because that's like I punted to Web Warriors basically at Nova last year. That was the plan, right? Yeah. We punted to Web Warriors.
Dude had done nothing but played Web Warriors, and he smoked you.
And he smoked you. Did was play Web Warriors.
He smoked you like that pork butt that made that delicious pulled pork.
We're really twisting the knife in this one. What else happened at Nova last year?
I made a terrible decision that ultimately led you to a position to where you could absolutely destroy me with dice on top of my bad decision. Because nothing feels worse than making a bad decision and then sinking the knife with dice. See, I balanced it out finally. I stopped complaining about how you diced me and turned it around to I made a bad decision and then you diced me.
Yep. We had good games.
I'm back for vengeance.
My Web Warriors. Hey, well, we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun to go from like...
It's okay. We'll get paired again round 2. We'll get paired again round 2.
No, dodge.
I'm excited for the team tournament. Like, anybody who's like going to Nova, like, you better... What's her... Oh, man, I don't want to... Like, Joey's not here, so we can't... We don't have a team name yet.
Oh, wow, we don't. You're right.
The Sweaty Tryhards.
No.
Because we're not. Our lists are not the tryhard. That's why it's funny.
No. Like, we should be... If anything, we're the dark horse.
Yeah, but you don't want to just say that.
But they're all...
Katy Perry. Let's just call ourselves Katy Perry.
Like Katy Perry.
All right, moving on. What's your next point you got here? You got leaning into affiliation and personal playstyles. I
don't think we finished why is it hard, why is it harder?
Okay.
Because there are more reasons, right? It's like team competition is what we touched on, right? Options. You are basically iced out of a lot of what the meta winds up being. So like if there is a meta for Crisis Protocol, it is that you can make the most powerful characters go into any affiliation. And so whatever affiliations are creating the greatest combination, greater than the sum of their parts for whatever the best models are in the game right now, which kind of segues into a listener question, but I guess we'll touch on the rest of this then.
Well,
but
or
do we touch it now?
No, we'll touch it later. But like, I feel like like we have the big three. It's very commonly referred to as the big three. You got Thanos, Malk, Red Skull, right? Or Hulk rather, not Red Skull. Big four. I consider Red Skull part of like the big.
It's a big four.
Who are arguably one everywhere in the meta, and arguably two, like completely alter what you need to do to play that game, and that's why they're considered like a big four or a big three, whatever you want to call it, because they're altering how you play the game. So, and then with a lot of these lists, you can't just bring that character because you have a 5 threat and I'm going to try and throw a 7 threat in there. Okay, I am now at what, 13?
So
yeah,
and now you have an anchor, right? Because like Cable is a lot of things, but Cable is not that great at helping 2 other models be as good as he is trying to make everyone else on a team. Which comes
into like, don't fall into the trap of just trying to throw these meta breakers into your list because they don't fit. They don't fit. If you have a 5 threat leader, you should be looking at as many 3 threats as you can. If you can fit 4s and make it feel good, do 4s. Like I'm running a lot of 4s because I'm also throwing Hellfire Club as a splash.
Find an answer. Get somebody like a Ronin, right? Where it's like, is he a super solid piece? No. I mean, he's not the best, right? He's probably not even the best 4, but
I think Ronin has been the dark horse since he was released in the game.
Absolutely.
Because like everybody always shits on Ronan, but I'm like, Ronan gives you everything that you could possibly want on a character. He has control. He's got throws.
Right.
He's got
pushes. Like, tell me this pen. Like, tell me all the attributes of Ronan. Right. Like, exactly.
Yeah. Like, tell me what you look for in a character. Oh, that's Ronan. Like, that's Ronan to a T. Why isn't he played more? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Right. Like,
does he just die? You want him to die.
4 attack.
Yeah, and it's energy,
dies,
and it's energy. Like, it's like Ronan is actually like, and I know Omnis. If Omnis hears this, he's probably gonna come up and just say, "I have been Ronan's boy since he was released." Like, Ronan is probably the most underrated 4th threat in the entire game. I would not.
I know that you used Ronan in like your clapback,
yeah,
X-Force like roster, like that's the kind of piece that you bring in instead of bringing in a Malekith. You have to bring in another force multiplier that's like on your theme, on your point.
Yes.
And I'm not saying like your theme is X-Force. I'm saying your theme was like clapback. And so like if your roster has a recurring synergy,
we go to
right
now. Right now, I run Cable Psylocke Logan, and that's pretty much every single list I do when I'm running X-Force.
Who needs clapback when you've got that much clap?
Yes, and that's exactly it though. Is it's like it's no longer clap back, it's just clap. Like it's straight up just like oh, you want to come, because like in my opinion, this is where the decision came from. Is it's like what is predominant in the meta? Well, center line grabs. Cool. Yeah. You have a center line grab that you expect to survive. Good luck. Like, I will throw Logan, I will throw Psylocke at you, and you are no longer really safe. But that's like, again, you come back to, what is my theme? My theme is denying that center grab. My theme is to being hyper aggressive really early in the game and providing a pressure that a lot of people like really can't handle. Like, it's really hard to be like, yeah, I can survive a Logan and or a Psylocke while also getting shot at by Cable, while also getting a 23 to the face.
Right.
Let's
and
get
then you have terrible
Xbox
tactics
range.
Cards, so you have plenty of room for things like Mark for Death.
Exactly. Or like Recal, or Eyes on the Prize because I'm taking Bill sneakily, or all of these tech things. And that's the coolest thing about these like anchor people that are considered anchors, is you may not have the bee's knees when it comes to like the words on your card or tactics cards or even leaderships. But what that means is you can just be like, I'm going to go ahead and bluff. And next thing you know, I got a full house. I think that's true though. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
No, it's true. It is. No, that's very true. Like, so like, I mean, that goes, I will die on the hill. Like, if it's your day, it's your day. If it is your day, it is your day. And it doesn't matter if you brought Red Skull and every Counts Blanks character in the game.
I'm telling you right now, Nova's going to be my day. X-Force is going to win Nova.
Hey,
but no, I definitely think
it might be my day.
I think
we got to get through everybody else, and it might be their day.
It's okay. It'll all be for fun because Nova is not an LVOIS.
Thank the Lord. Like the LVOIS is a beautiful thing. I love that not everything is an LVOIS this year.
I agree, but I'm not.
I just want to play the game.
I just want to have fun at an event. I want to like look back at last year's Nova, and then make this year's Nova even better. And I 100% expect you to have some of that minty goodness.
Oh, there will be Fernet.
Okay, I can't remember the name of it, and I didn't want to say the wrong thing, so I just left it at minty goodness. I'll bring the sour monkeys because that's what I'm going for. Anyways, man, I like it's crazy because it's still like 4 months away, but like
no, it's the road to Nova, the struggle bus to Nova. That's what we should call this whole series. Should be the struggle bus to Nova.
I mean, it's not wrong because
that
like, I am
should
very
be the
much...
team name.
Oh, okay. There we go. Struggle bus to Nova.
Boom.
There we go. Okay, sorry, I need to take a note because I would have forgotten if I didn't do it. But like, I think, I'm going to say this now too. I think it also comes back to remembering why you're playing this game. Like,
amen.
Because I had the year off of X-Force, and I'm not going to lie, like, I really didn't have fun with MCP that year. And as soon as I got back onto X-Force, I was like, man, I lost that game, but it's probably the most fun like game of MCP I've played in like a year. Like I encourage people to like literally like play what you really want to play. If you want to play those try hard lists, go for it. I don't care. You want to play your favorite characters, go for it. It's more fun that way. Like at the end of the day, you paid money for these miniatures and like play them how you want to play them. If Sam wants to go and represent Thanos Guardians, then like he's gonna represent Thanos Guardians. Which leads me to a listener question that we'll get to here in a little bit, but I think we should probably start to wrap up the main topic. Let's hit your last point. What was it?
Why Mal and Thanos are different.
So why Mal? Because I think the biggest thing here,
to a certain extent too, right? Because
I was gonna say, here, it's like you're looking at 7+. Like I don't know why you would play Thanos without a gem unless you were challenged by a listener and Sam had
which
to play
is a
Thanos
second listener question. I have an answer for that question.
You already have.
Oh no, I have a different answer for that. I have a better answer for that question.
But why Mal and Thanos? Oh, I also want to hit the previous statement because I think that's really important.
Okay.
But why Mal and probably Thanos are different than the above list? I think Mal and Thanos are different because one, they're a 7+ threat and they have all the tools. The coolest part about Thanos is you adjust his toolkit based on the gems and his threat level.
When I could do that from the epic game, it was such an amazing experience. But now I can't do that. So now you have to set up Thanos for the entire thing. But
that's fair. That was actually I forgot that's how it used to be done.
God, like, the glory days. Literally. How could you forget that? Oh, I know, because you blocked it out.
That's fair. I didn't play Black Order or Thanos. Arguably though, like Thanos was a better splash back then because you literally your tools and your tech pieces were your gems.
The game is best between 2 and 6 threat. With 2 actions a turn. That's how the whole design is worked. When Thanos could do 3 actions at 9 threat, like, come on.
Anybody can do 3 actions.
Of course.
Once you break those rules, you're towing into some like NPE, in my opinion. I wouldn't say necessarily NPE, but like you're towing into it.
Having your own models repositioned is one of the most uncomfortable experiences in like minis gamings. This game has a ton of it. So like you either get over the bad touch real quick or like it will just get under your skin. And the same thing with the dice. The dice are so swingy. Like, wow, these dice, they're crazy.
Leaning into affiliation and personal play styles. I think we've like really kind of harped on this entire episode so far, and like just like our, I guess like internal mission objective or philosophy as a pod in general is play what you want to play and play what suits you. Don't be net listing and like I guess like net list if it fits you, but like don't be like I'm gonna take this to this.
That's who you are.
Yeah, that's
no judgment though, bro.
Yeah, but it's like straight up like leaning into affiliation and play styles. Like I am still a 100. Like there's people that are winning tournaments with X-Force. I saw one the other day where somebody won a local with X-Force.
Well, I mean that was like Jumanji, so like it's not like we're talking about like solid player.
But you know how much work Jumanji has put into X-Force. Like I would arguably say as he's probably been at the X-Force train as long as I have, if not like nobody's been in longer because I've been since they came out. Because even when I took my year break, I was secretly doing shadow games with X-Force.
What? Oh my goodness! So you were still hooking up with your ex-girlfriend on the side while you were telling everybody else you guys were broken up? Oh, I feel betrayed right now, Diz. I'm not gonna lie.
I figured everybody saw that already happening. But yeah, it's straight up like lean into like what you know. Like you want to, if you're a control-y person, you want to play that blue deck. Play that fucking blue deck.
Sure. If your favorite affiliation or your pet affiliation is also the way that you like to play this game, you won.
Yeah, you're having fun. You're using your money wisely. I didn't realize we had some chat going on. Rich, Thanos without a gem is one of the worst characters in the game.
You shut your mouth, Rich. I'm kidding,
That
man.
was just.
But
That was just a
can we do that
definition
listener
each
question? Can we just
reason.
do that? Here we are.
Okay, let's go
First
ahead.
time stamp of the
Go
night.
ahead.
1 hour listener questions.
All right, let's jump into it.
Read Big Al's listener question to me if you would, please.
Words. Listener questions. Not a question, but since finger guns pew pew like Thanos so much, I challenge him to run a list with no gems on him. It can be splashing a list from Big Al.
Sure, Big Al. I will do it when they give me Silver Surfer and Adam Warlock, and they all fit at like good threat levels. And then I will play a gemless Thanos hanging out with his 2 best pals, and probably Cosmic Ghost Rider if I can fit him in too. And we're just gonna like go from there. For now, no.
Do you think
I got nothing on that. Why would I do that? Why? I almost responded to that like, but why?
But why? Cosmic Ghost
why?
Rider
I don't want to purposefully leave home like tools for a character. Like,
yeah.
I can't unsee optimization. Doesn't mean I want to like. Doesn't mean I like have to play the most optimized of best stuff. I want to explore. I want to experiment. That's where I get joy in this game. So like experimenting with a gemless Thanos is just like bringing a 6-threat character that has to get engaged in combat and doesn't have any like extra tools to get there, and it's easily ignored.
Cool.
I wouldn't choose to bring him. I love Thanos. But like that doesn't mean I want to like have a bad time playing stuff that's no good.
Let's see.
There's some good ones in here. What else do we have here? I'll ask you one.
Okay, go ahead.
I gotta find them first. Hold on. Bam. Here we go. With Thanos Guardians winning events and qualifiers all over the place, what's been your solution into them?
Okay, so fun fact is my first game of the lunch meat sandwich is a Thanos Guardians list.
Have you played that game?
A long time ago. I haven't played it in a while.
What's your solution into them? Because I'm sure they're not listening, right?
No, he absolutely. He's actually like it's actually mirror image, and I know he listens to us. In all reality, with my list specifically, I actually play X-Force into Thanos Guardians because Psylocke ain't no slouch, and Logan ain't either.
Thanos dies. Like that's the difference between Thanos now and Thanos a year ago. Is that Thanos dies now?
Like Thanos dies, Guardians die. Like it's all about I think the Guardians Thanos matchup is all about prioritizing your target. Like that matchup is 100% like who do I need to kill first? It's
you have energy attacks. You have great energy attacks.
Well, it's
notoriously weak to energy.
It's very much also it's very much, and I think X-Force, if you need to get better at target prioritization, go just play X-Force. X-Force teaches you how to do target prioritization really, really well. Because I think the Thanos Guardians matchup is 100% who do I need to kill first, and then second, and then third, and then just lean into that as much as possible, and then you're trying to keep parity as well as you're doing that, because you're going to get moved. You're going to be put into situations where you don't really want. So it's like you're scoring the points that you know that you're going to score, and then you're taking out the people you know to take out. Don't waste your actions doing stuff you know is going to be undone by your opponent. Why am I going to go sit on a stand secure when I know Thanos is just going to move me off of it? So why don't I just like move and attack an opponent instead of sit on a point that I'm going to lose anyways?
So would you agree with Nikki when he says play X-Force?
For me specifically, absolutely, because I think X-Force actually wins that matchup.
Okay. I have personally done very poorly against that roster and various iterations of it because I tend to run rosters that are like, either
really
somewhat
into that
counter to it, or just not very good into it, right? Because I like playing Asgard. I'm like, well, that's not great. I like playing Convocation. Oh, there's some energy attacks I really don't want to see. And I play rosters with Thanos in it, and it's like, well, I am not as wide as you, so your Thanos gets to do more things than mine.
Yeah.
And I think that the DeLuca Lockjaw play is a fantastic option into any sort of Thanos team. Reality Thanos is going to displace as many models as he can pay to, but he can only displace them once. So you don't have to worry about the tractor beam. You still have to be careful about the midline. But you have options into him when you can save a lockjaw for after their Thanos and pull back or otherwise rescue whoever they've decided to pull out. And you kind of have to kind of bunch up for this. So there are decisions that you should probably be making in roster construction. You also probably don't want to be playing their game. And so you need to figure out between the secures and the extracts, which one of those you don't want to see. And then you have to do the impossible and win priority so you can make that decision. Like that's like, these are all, it's one of those situations where it's like, well, you got to bring a silver bullet in roster construction. Maybe bring a tactics card that you're going to play specifically into the Thanos matchup, like something like maybe like a kick 'em while they're down, where it's like, okay, I have to maximize my dice into this incredibly defensive character. And there's other options, but your strategy should probably kind of cater to trying to beat that and not play their game or force them onto a game that they don't like spider portals or something along those lines, where
it really just comes down to what I said, where it's like why am I gonna go sit on a standpoint when I know Thanos is gonna move me? Like, why? Like,
right?
Why don't I just
if you don't
use
like
my
Thanos, bring
action
flip
economy
secures
better?
Like,
Yeah.
bring flip secures and figure out your X-Men matchup.
Yeah. I don't have that option because I've already submitted my list, and my list is like no flips.
Oh, even with Logan, you're a madman. Ha! You see what I did there?
I don't like Mad Men for X-Force anymore. It used to be really good. But I don't like it anymore.
I mean, everything's good on Mad Men, so I kind of get that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Thanos
well, that's the biggest thing about Mad Men is like there's too many teams that have an edge on me where I don't like it. Where it's like I could play Meteors where neither of us have an edge, but I like the layout better.
Thanos has a lot more play on that, but I mean, you're not worried about that matchup, right? So like that's a situation for you to not worry about.
Absolutely. All right. Rakathal, with New Doc hitting the tables, I've been thinking about CS. Do you think Criminal Syndicate will ever live up to the hype and win something big? And if so, do you think it will be with Kingpin, SL, Shadowlands Daredevil, or New Doc? I think the biggest issue with CS is they're always the bridesmaid and never the bride. They're always talked up. They're always like, wow, be on the lookout for CS. And then everybody practices against CS and comes up with a plan with how to deal with CS. The issue with CS is they have an outstanding leadership. All three of them, I think, have pretty good leaderships. I think Kingpin and Daredevil beat out, but Kingpin and Daredevil don't really match up. The issue then also happens is every time CS is really, really good is like right in the middle of when like these big events are. And then by the time the big event actually happens or the finals happen, CS is like time to shine is like already over.
That's because everyone was practicing CS for that event.
So it's like, I think the biggest issue that CS has going for them is everybody talks about CS. Like,
it's a pillar.
It's like
Kingpin. You have to play. You have to have an answer for Kingpin.
But then it comes down to it. It's like, then why is Mal, Thanos, and Red Skull and Hulk such a big issue? Because everybody talk about them.
Okay, because Kingpin, like you have, like all you have to do is have a strategy. You don't need like special tools built in. You can build special tools in if you feel like you're weak to it. But like you don't have to build special tools into Kingpin. If you're designed to win the secure game, right? Like one body counting for two is still zero when it's not on the point.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. So like if you're built to play that game, like you have game against CS. If you're built to play flips, you probably have game against CS. I kind of wish New Doc had like his swirlies on. Yeah,
flips. Yeah, I think that's really what all it is when it comes down to CS. Is like I would love to see CS actually win something big because it's like they're always talked about as being like the boogeyman of the meta, and then they just fall short.
Absolutely, but there's always that CS player who makes the top 8, right? That's the guy. That's the guy that I'm afraid of. That's the guy.
Yeah,
that never
then they get
playing
taken
CS.
out they get taken out pretty early, and then the arguably whatever scarier is there. Porg Beater, how do you think altering Crisis start range to 17 to 22 would affect the game? More degeneracy or less degeneracy? I don't want anything above 20. To be completely honest, I don't want anything above 20.
More points, more degeneracy.
I think
probably less
15,
field stats, though.
I think 15 to 20 is actually like fine. Arguably 15 should probably go too, and it should be 16 to 20. But you like having options. Like 15 is like
more stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like 15 lets you like, can you like handle this with your list? And then like
sorry,
but then 20 just becomes like bring.
Do you
do
you want to see Thanos, Malekith,
every
and
game?
Immortal Hulk on the table? Do you want to see that on like a EMAP? Because you could get that on an EMAP if you wanted it. At 20, it could happen.
Yeah, but they're not affiliated. You don't need to be affiliated.
22. Yeah, why do you need to be affiliated with that?
Fair. All right. From Nick E, what are ways you would change or modify some other 4s that come up to more recent power levels, like OG Skull, Sinister, Colossus, Wolverine, and a 5 like Cable? Go ahead and talk.
I'm pro dust up. Oh, I'm up. Oh, geez, you're just gonna leave me with this? This is like the whole last episode. Like, I think that there are characters in the game that need a dust up. Absolutely. What would I do to change them? Give them a bunch of busted abilities that would probably make the game worse than it is. Because like I don't know what's good. I played with Black Order when they were busted, and I was like, oh yeah, this is like all right. Yeah, it's hard to play, but but was it though? Like I don't know. Like it's OG Red Skull is a very interesting piece to me. My experience playing OG Red Skull has been using him as basically a very expensive objective runner in very tall teams that are like only like 3 wide. And now I think that he's just kind of outclassed by New Skull in a lot of ways. I think you just find room for the 5. Like you can play the secure game and the extract game if you want to, or you can do other cool things. He's just not the leader. But you have other options in Malekith and Sin. Probably Malekith. So how do you dust up an OG Red Skull to make him make sense? He's a support piece, right? But I think he was built to hold he's in a weird spot, right? Because he is a character that, I mean, his ability triggers. Like one of the things we didn't touch on, we probably should have, when we were talking about like making characters better, or like playing to their strengths, is it like with Cable and X-Force, you're trying to get enough bodies on the table that having one reroll a turn makes sense. With Thor, I'm trying to get enough bodies on the table that heal 1 every turn makes sense, or every activation makes sense, right? Like that's you bring 3 models in that, you're getting less benefit from your leadership. It's similar with Steve Rogers, where it's like, okay, like the more bodies I put on the table, the more like opportunities I have to reduce my superpowers, or playing reactive superpowers. So sorry, I managed to stall for quite a while because I really have no idea how to fix in heavy quotation marks OG Skull.
Make his spend 1 not spend 1.
Sure. Well, like yeah, like just make it like either make it a gainer or make it like Ronin, where you just get nothing out of it. Same thing for Sinister and his beam.
I honestly like the more that they release, where people have like they have the builder, then they have the gainer. Like just like make Deadpool's Bane a gainer. Make
that would be I don't know. So like Deadpool with a bang gainer is going to be oppressive. With his,
I would
his
say
stuff.
it needs to be a. Like the first attack gets to be a gainer, but not the succession, like the ones that come after it.
Okay, I can get behind that. So if he does it twice and he's got somebody else close, he can do his power drop thing.
But it's like I don't like when it comes to like modify other 4s to bring them up to more recent power levels. It's like
I don't know. We just have a party line on this, right? Like We
Well,
should
it's
just have a party line that's just like if it's a ranged attack that doesn't like do very much, it should be free or it should be a gainer.
Yeah,
Like that's the party line. Done.
but
OG Wolverine needs a single.
Then
reroll.
you look at Sinister. Sinister is very much just make his beam not cost 1. That's all he needs, in my
Colossus
opinion.
needs a medium move.
Colossus needs a medium move because the issue with Colossus is great. The only issue is he's too easy to control because now that he's been thrown, he now has to take 2 moves to get back in, and then he's doing nothing. So that's Colossus's issue. OG Wolverine,
Just
make
print
him
Logan's
interact.
card on him.
No, just honestly, I like OG Wolverine for what he is. The only thing about OG Wolverine that I like irritates me is that he can't contest or
The
hold
only thing
objectives.
that irritates me about Logan is that he's a separate character.
Yeah, just make OG Wolverine a 6'6", like, and he can contest on his backside.
Or contest on the backside. The health, maybe I don't care about that, or maybe even 5'7". I'd be okay with 5'7", reroll 1.
I would be happier with 5'7".
If he right,
like,
because you get more damage. Right now he's like,
absolutely.
like the closer he gets to death, and 7 is like maybe enough to be survivable. That's the old Green Goblin number though, isn't it? No, he was on 5 on the back too.
Goblins
That was the
7'5", yeah.
Yeah, so 5'7", like so then he's just tough enough on the back, or maybe give him invul on the back.
I don't know. When you
Give
look
it
at
something
like
else where it's like he's just like tougher and tougher and tougher to take down.
I feel like when you look at like old MCP, I call it old
damn.
MCP.
What if it was
but-
invuln equal to the damage he had on him? So at no damage, it's invuln none. At 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. So you have to like hit him.
way
with,
too
like,
good.
Such...
That's way too good.
Why?
That's way
He's gonna
too
heal
good.
it off. He's gonna keep healing it off. So at the end of his activation,
AMG, if you listen to this, if you
Yes.
could just make a Wolverine, if you could make a Wolverine who had invuln equal to the amount of damage on him, you'd
on
be
the
seeing a
back,
happy
only on
man.
the back,
Well,
only
his
on the back,
backside.
only
Okay.
on the back.
I mean, if he had that, I would like absolutely be like, I don't care if he can contest or not. Like, he's just gonna survive.
Right? Like he's just there. He's gonna just be in their face and like roll dice.
Yeah.
Like roll unmodified dice that are really sad all
But
the time.
I think like when you look at this question though, it's very much like different strokes for different folks kind of thing, where it's like it depends on what the character is, what they need to tow them up the line. But I do think that there are a lot of 4s out there who are definitely on the bottom end of the bell curve, especially considering all the 4s.
especially considering new stuff like these 4s. There's so going back to your gaslighting about Margrave. So you're saying that the whole game is like was like this, like top to bottom, 0 to 10, just because we've only seen 0 to 6 so far, or like before a year ago we'd only seen like 0 to 6. Now we're seeing 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah. And now we're getting to the top end, and then from here we're going to see a cap, and it's not going to be insanity anymore.
That's I actually think that, yes.
I think that's going to take an elbow from the top rope, and then like helping like reaching for a folding chair from underneath the mat, right? So it's going to take like bringing models up again and knocking some models down.
I do think they're going to be bringing. There is no way they don't do another balance pass. Like, there are some characters
bold words.
I don't see them not doing it, because what are they going to do? Just release a new Wolverine? Oh wait.
I mean,
honestly, if Logan had X-Force affiliation, I'd be completely okay with it.
I'd be absolutely fine with just one Wolverine in the game, but
yeah,
it's okay. It's also fine the way it is. Like,
all right, you have any closing thoughts for our episode today?
Wow, closing thoughts. I'm sad Hyperviper didn't show up since he said he was going to be here.
He did. Everybody should shame Hyperviper. If you're in the Discord, at him and just say shame.
I hope he had fun, whatever he was doing, and that's honest.
Yeah.
Other than that, my closing thoughts are: thanks for listening.
Thanks for this.
Everyone who plays MCP is like basically great people. So
yeah, and like honestly, I still think this 100% is like honestly just AMG gaming in particular, like between Shatterpoint and MCP and the other ones that I don't play. It's typically like honestly like one of the best miniature gaming communities that I've been a part of. And
friends you meet along the way. The game is the medium, right? Like it just
and like the fact that like I have been looking forward to Nova since last year.
Yeah.
Like I am looking forward to hanging out with Cutthroat and Sam and Joey and like be at a new hotel and debauchery will assume. So if you're gonna be at Nova, hit us up because we'll be there and we're gonna have a wonderful time. And with that, we have been the Rogue Agents. And you, as always, have been the listener.
Perfectly balanced. As all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this war, there's no surrender. He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky?
You don't like a fair fight.
I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
You think you're the only superhero in the world?
Touché.
Okay. Stream is still live. Let's see. It's
Okay, burning questions, really quick. Do you want to play in the next round of the TTS season 2?
Is it odd? That was like my only question was like if it looks like
I think
so.
so.
When I looked at it and I thought it was odd because it said 50, but I was like, but somebody has
it says 50, but like we've had a bunch like right. So like there was an ad, but then we also had a bunch of drops.
Yeah.
So there's somebody who,
So, like,
somebody who got a buy. There's also somebody who joined. So that made it even, and then we've had a few drops, as you know.
Like I'll if it's odd, then I'll go ahead and join just so there's not a buy. I'm not really looking for anything other than just playing games.
Okay, give me a second. Let me look.
And it's only round 1, isn't it? Like this was just round 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Watch me make it to fucking cuts. Still.
Hey, make it happen, man.
I'll get paired against somebody like fucking DeLuca or something.
I did that last season, and then Vodka Blitz knocked me out.
I don't know. I've always found with like the TTS leagues where it's like, man, riddle me this: how do I go from being like, man, I'm done doing TTS leagues. I just like I can't handle it. I got so much shit going on.
You got
to
the
being
itch,
like,
bro.
all right, coffee. I'll go ahead and like start up a SP fucking TTS league.
Let's
I was
make
talking
it
to
happen.
Gronko. I was talking to Gronko, and I was like, this is the way to have the TTS league that I always wanted.
All right, so we're at 50 players with 4 drops. So I believe it is still even.
Damn it. Maybe I just sneak in and I get the buy, and then I just get it round 1 easy,
You'll sneak in, and then we'll do the pairings live. Let's do this.
Fuck it, I don't care. Like just put me in there because somebody else is gonna drop in.
Yeah.
Screw it.
All right. Event host tools.
How are you running east now? I thought you were west.
No, I run the east now because I actually live on the East Coast, so it was time. So we brought Carl in, who's in Sacramento, who like actually has a West Coast community. Because that was the other thing. Is it's like if you don't have a community that you're trying to foster as well, like I feel like it's fine, like whatever. Yeah. What's your number?
Thanks. You should type in.
Never mind. I got you.
Yeah, but I should be the only one.
You're the only one of you.
My name is very unique.
X-Force.
Yeah.
Because I know my boy.
Well, it's X-Force and Hellfire Club, but yeah.
All right, well, you can fix that.
It's fine.
All right, you want to pull up the page since you should be registered for it now?
Showing. Oh, there we go. Let's go ahead and
load
turn
pairings.
That off. Load the pairings.
Add this round. Are you sure? Yes. That's how much. That's how much effort. Everyone is like, "Thank you for all you do." No, I do more than that, but like that is how much effort.
Man, I got Zeke. All right,
that already happened. All right, come on, we gotta roll through this. Hold on, let me post in the chat. So all the people who actually like gave any sort of a poop about this can come and see it.
There's no buy, so look perfect.
Hey, so it did work. Good. All right.
Yeah.
See, this is why you just do things.
Yeah.
Who counts?
Oh, Vodka Blitz got right mad. Damn. Oh no, did his internet cut out? Sam? Sam?
That was awesome.
Where'd you-
I dropped myself out.
I was like,
I closed the wrong window.
All of a sudden. All right.
How's it
All
going?
right, go
I'm here.
ahead.
Oh wait, I'm gone. No, I still have to post it. Dun, 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 East.
There's not a lot of big names in this one.
You're a big name in this one.
I'm not a big name. I play Axels.
I am the most afraid.
I actually think that Ben, Vodka Blitz, and myself are like the highest rated Longshanks people in this.
Longshanks ratings don't matter.
They don't, but I think
Come on.
they don't.
Nah.
Man,
It's an unrated tournament.
fair. Did anybody shame Hyper yet?
I have no idea. I haven't heard it.
No, not yet. Riddle me this.
Okay.
What if MCP went to just secures and like lowered their VP count to like adjust to that?
No, I don't want Shatterpoint with Marvel characters. I want to play.
No,
MCP.
I've seen that a couple times actually, where it was like what if like?
I mean,
MCP
doesn't that
is
just make
discovered of
characters
XRX?
like Mal and Thanos like even more powerful?
I
that
think so.
point?
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely think so.
Hulk, Thanos, Malekith, like it's even
Yeah.
worse than. I mean, unless they like literally adopt the same rule set where like you can't like. So Shatterpoint, you can only move once. You can't do any action more than once. So move once, attack once. Attack once, move away. You know, like.
But here is the thing: is Shatterpoint is balanced around that fact. MCP is balanced around the fact that you can't.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
All right.
what I don't understand. All right, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't actually make the post.
Oh my god.
I'm amazing.
All right. Tom Sawyer versus Rain. Paul Johans.
Hey,
versus
no, this is my
Jake-
job. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Gab. Gab
you're gonna
Lamont
make
versus
you're
the
gonna
Bob.
you're gonna make a post and tell people to come watch the stream.
Yeah, that was what I just did. It happened.
Oh, okay. Well, you gotta give it a couple seconds. Okay, so fill the air
jumped like 3.
with nonsense now.
Fill the air with nonsense. So we are doing the pairings for the season 11.
You're talking way too fast because ain't nobody gonna be here fast enough.
Doing the pairings for.
All right, riddle me this.
season
Okay, you know what? Help me out here. I
GTS League
I
for
have-
MCP.
I have some burning questions.
All right.
All right.
Some people jumped over. They're ready for it. What are your burning
No.
questions?
My burning. We're giving some more time. There's more people to get in here.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Do I want Cosmic Ghost Rider in my list or no?
In your X-Force list?
Yeah. Well, X Force.
Are you running Bucky?
No.
I think you had Bucky before you had Cosmic.
I don't disagree with that because it's easier to run Bucky. But it's like
just,
I'm not.
He's just
like,
cheaper.
I don't,
If that's an
but it's
effect
like-
you want, like get
but
it
it's
in there
not-
with like
but it's
cheaper
not-
bodies to die and trigger it.
But it's not. That's not the reason why I would bring Cosmic. The reason why I bring Cosmic is because of the pull.
Yeah, but like you're playing X-Force. This
my
is what we just
biggest-
talked about, where we talked
like,
about how
my-
you don't
but-
just bring in the thing to do the thing.
No.
right?
I understand
that everyone
that,
else is
but,
going to
like,
do because
but
you
the
have to do
pull-
something else.
But the pull enables my characters like 23 and Domino and Psylocke.
Sure. But like, what are your points then?
I think I
'Cause, like-
keep it the same. Where it's
Yeah,
like,
like-
Infinity,
Like 19.
Demons.
So like, I think you got a sweet demons team that's like Cable, Psylocke, Logan, and oh wait, that's not affiliated. Never
No, it
mind.
doesn't. Yeah,
no,
no.
I don't think you bring.
I
them.
looked at that too, and I was like, "Wow, this team would be."
Hey, but you know what,
amazing.
Bucky and some other body would be?
Right?
That would be affiliated.
I enjoy Bill too much on demons.
All
All right, you got people here.
Pairings.
You can go ahead.
Let's
and
do
go through
pairings
this.
now.
All right.
Tom Sawyer versus Rain. Paul Johans versus JP. Gab Lamont versus The Bob. Vodka Blitz versus Right Mad, a battle of the Titans. Shoki Shaw versus Longiver. KS McGlees versus Blake Hooper. Ryan Beatty versus Stephen Higgs. Isaac Kim versus Wraith. Ludo Chose versus Tactical Taylor. I love these names. I don't know if these are your real names or if they're like game names you chose, but like
no, Tactical Taylor is his
these
actual
are amazing.
name. Tactical is his first name, and Taylor is
absolutely
his last name.
Like this is what I'm talking about. This
like
is the
vodka.
way parents of the
Vodka
future.
is the first name. Blitz is the second name. Right is the first name, and Mad is the second name.
Right, Mad.
Right, Mad. K. I've always said like K. You said KS Magless. I've always done it like Spagless.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know. Half the fun of this is butchering your names for me. To be fair here, so Jekara versus Exalted Tilapia, Ashendari versus Sebastian Charon, Tim, the Professional Casual. You got to fix that, man. France, including the you got to fix that, man. Versus Eugene Show,
Tim,
Nate
the
Great
Professional
versus
Casual. You got to fix that.
Yeah. Nate the Great versus Kyle Roberts. Hey, look, Dizzard's playing now. Dizzard versus Zeke. Ian Mothorpe versus Olaf J. Ronan Around versus Lucas. Stephen Hergert versus Magic Nick.
Why did you let me in this bracket when you got Vodka Bliss, you got Right Mad, you got Magic Nick, you got Mr. Chic.
Hey, you're the one who said there weren't any names in this bracket.
I didn't go through it. You said that. I didn't actually go through it.
The Dice Are Alive versus Jeff Trost. Tayton versus Sweet Tea Coffee. Brian Frederick versus Jacob Evans. Isaac Morgan versus John Parker. Maeve versus Robert the Jedi. James Hayworth versus Bobby B. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Boom.
Boom.
Oh, you like my screensaver?
Who's that?
It's Brevin.
I just fucking with you.
Well, thanks, guys, for coming out and hanging out.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.